Alright, so Polly Olson recommended I speak with Wright. He's a pastor here in town. It was her belief that if I got a hold of Wright, that he might go in with me or take the time to take a look at it or have some idea for housing. My lighter's dead. Fuck it. Wright, I am desperate for help. Karen Stegeman for help. No luck. I've already been to Chris Stegeman repeatedly for help. He's too drunk all the damn time. If he's not drunk, he's pissed off. He's one or the other. There is no in between. I was assaulted yesterday, Rod. I know that there's people in town who watch my videos and get a hold of whoever it is that I'm talking about. I'm hoping they'll do the same here. There's a reason I don't believe in God, Rod. I believe in the possibility, but I don't believe in God. I absolutely believe in Jesus. I just think Jesus was a good man. So we got religious differences. That doesn't make you a bad person at all. I'm not trying to insinuate that you are like most of the Christians that I know. I need help. It's 12:36 a.m. I've been to Polly Olson for help. First time I reached out to her for help, I was in Bristol, Virginia. It was 2019. Polly recommended that I go to you, Rod, so I got a hold of your daughter. I gave her my number, asked her to give it to you. She said she would, and then she said she did. I was assaulted yesterday, and I have to be afraid to go into the police. I put the stuff on YouTube because I have to fear the police. All autistic people do. And all homeless people do. People tell me you shouldn't care what other people think. Well, I care about the freezing cold. I care about the physical assaults against me. Those are two things that are difficult to ignore if you've never had to sleep out in the cold. I recommend trying it. You won't sleep. You will end up walking around all night trying to stay warm. It's hell. My life is hell on earth. I've been trying to get help with this in person since before Natalie was killed. I've been to a lot of people in town. They say they don't care or it's not going to do any good. I talked to Sean Jeffson. He says it won't do any good. That's the thing. Most people don't even try. They just assume that it's not going to make any difference. So I got to have hope and faith, right? When nobody else does. They just have pretty words. That lived that time. I have reached out to a lot of people. I reached out to Wendell McPhee. Wendell said he was willing to sign a piece of paper saying I'm not schizophrenic, but beyond that, he doesn't want to get involved, which is why I recorded him. He was aware of the threats by Sandy Fromm, and he said nothing. Oh, he said things to me, just not to the police. The church that Rod Wright is pastor of is Chris Stegeman's dad's old shop. Rod Wright, Chapel, Nebraska. Apparently, I typed your name up before. Oh, I just found his number. I guess I'll try to call him in the morning. Oh, shit. I can't. My phone's broken. Rod, I have a broken phone. I can't reach out to any of my loved ones. I can't do nothing. I recorded the assault, came up, pulled up in front of me, and knocked my phone out of my hand. My phone is. When good men do nothing, that is evil enough. I gave Rod's daughter my number 2 nights ago. See, I needed help stopping this. I have another phone. It doesn't have any numbers in it. That's the problem. My other phone is full of evidence, but it does me no good if I can't get into it. Um, where I'm at now, I do have internet access temporarily for the weekend, but I can't function with all this going on. And my predators continually prey on that. I understand that this town, right or wrong, has nothing to do with right or wrong. It has to do with popularity and opinion. I I'm not a tech savvy dude, and people expect me to be. Rod, I am scared of the police. I've had to be scared of the police most of my life because they won't do anything. When I was homeless, they did a lot. They made my life hell. I worked hard to get unhomeless, and the cops worked just as hard to make sure that everything that I did to try to get unhomeless was unraveled. Obviously, I'm talking mostly about Boulder, Colorado. I want to show you some stuff, Rod. I have been everywhere. Rod, I have to go to drug dealers and drug addicts for help. Drug dealers and drug addicts and alcoholics. I've had to travel from one end of the country to the other to try to get help. Oh, yeah, that one doesn't work. Lola Ty spent 28 months with the Boulder Police Department. He lost his job September 11th, 2020, after a lot of excessive force complaints. Here's just one article about this. This officer assaulted me in January of 2018 after Natalie was killed. Here's an article about him. He hurt me intentionally. Now, there's people in your congregation that I know, Rod, like Laura Nelson, and me and her do not get along. That's the thing, is that for most of the people that I know who claim to be Christians, they don't believe in anything. They use it as a manipulation tactic. All I need Laura to do is tell the truth, but she doesn't have it in her. She doesn't have it in her to tell the truth in this town. I sent you a friend request on Facebook, and I sent you a message. Are you a good man, Rod? I hope you are. Rory Jepson was going to help me, and he died. He was a good man. I went to Gary Jepson for help. Gary said it wouldn't do any good. I went to Dana Jepson for help. He said it wouldn't do any good. Without someone to go in with me, especially after how badly the cops screwed up, I have to have someone go in with me for my own safety. Rod, there are a lot of articles on Wayland Wolotai. I'm looking at dozens and dozens of See, I told on Wayland Wolotai he assaulted me in January of 2018. He assaulted 6 more people in 2018, and he never stopped. Here's another one. Now, I'm not saying this is an insult, but just in case you're OCD or don't like to read, which I hope is not the case. If you're a preacher, there's a book to be read. There's another article from the Boulder Daily Camera. That's Wayland Wolotai. Now I'm gonna go to YouTube, just in case, if you don't have the time to read it. Yeah, that one doesn't work. I did that wrong. Four years of this, sir. I've had an autism advocate for close to a year now. She lives all the way on the east side of the state, she can't come here to help. And in this town, people are not historically, I don't even know how to put that. Rod, I was assaulted yesterday. And as much as I would have liked to turn in the assault, I have to have someone there with me. Everybody should have the right to be heard. This one right here is a video that you have to be at least 18 years of age to watch. It's called Waylon Lolitai's Greatest Hits. It's on YouTube. After Natalie was killed, that's the officer who assaulted me. Took a whole year for anybody to do anything at all about him. I'm not talking about just towards me, I'm talking about towards others as well. Miss Peaches, in our conversations, talks about how Waylon Lolitai had his gun taken away because he kept on assaulting people. They took away his taser, too. Sir, I post this stuff up on YouTube because I have nobody in person who's willing to go with me. They're all too scared. I went to Cammie Jepson. She's too drunk. She thinks she's right about everything, even though she knows nothing about the situation because she didn't bother. She claimed that her and Candace Bondurant were the only two people defending me. No, they never defended me. They argue with people on YouTube and Facebook. I didn't need people to argue on Facebook. I needed help in person. To this day, the police have played on the mentally ill tag as an excuse to ignore all of the crimes against me. Anytime I bring a crime to them, they say things like, well, how do we know you didn't make that up? Do you say that about the people who come into you about me? You say, how do we know you didn't make that up? That's just three things on Waylon Lolitai. There's dozens and dozens and dozens. I tried to turn in Waylon Lolitai repeatedly and was not allowed. Guess where I was sent? Clearview Behavioral Health, where they held me longer than they should have, assaulted me and drugged me. You know what it took to get an investigation against them? It wasn't one of the patients, it was somebody who cared about one of the patients. Maybe you should drop the rumors, Rod. I know this town lives on rumors. If you're a man of God, Well, then you're not going to approach me with judgment. Everyone should have the right to turn in their abusers. I have tried everything that I can, Rod. I have tried everything that I can to try to stop the abuse. I was sent to Clearview because after the general public for over 30 days threatening, harassing, and assaulting me no matter where I went, and people promised to help and didn't show up, or they showed up and were too busy telling you what to do instead of listening to what was going on. I attempted to kill myself with 2 packages of caffeine pills and a package of sleeping pills in a hotel room in Lafayette. I got a computer that's full of evidence. 4 years worth of abuse, 4 years worth of ignorance, 4 years worth of people looking away. 4 years worth of people throwing me away, and I am not nice to people. I'm not. You know me in real life, Rod. I've spoken to you on multiple occasions. I spoke at Rory's funeral. You and I have spoken quite a few times down at Hanson's Texaco. The person that I have to be on the internet in order to be heard. That's not who I am, and that's not who I want to be. It's the person that I have to be out of desperation. I need to get help putting a stop to this. When they bullied me to the point that I tried to kill myself, 2 officers in Lafayette came and they said that my pants were soaked. I was wearing 4 pairs of pants at the time, sir. They pushed me to the point that I was trying to kill myself. I was worried about Natalie's stepmothers and my own family and Candace Bondurant and all of these other people, Carl Rogers. They did the most terrible things. I'm gonna go to church tomorrow for the first time in a long, long time. Last time I was in a church was Chapel Assembly of God 2 years ago. I've spoken to a few preachers, but not stepped inside of a church. I need help stopping this, Rod. I don't know who else to turn to. I would have liked to call 911, but the cops aren't going to investigate it unless someone goes in with me. And even then, it's a long shot. I mean, I got to go to police officers who have committed a lot of crimes against me, and I'm not allowed to show that. It wasn't God that pulled me away from the church, it was Christians. I shouldn't have had to go to the internet. But everyone blows me off. I believe that the situation with Chris Kurth is over. His brother told me it is. His brother told me that he'd have a talk with him, and I want to believe it. I told the truth, Rod, and nobody cared. There's a lot of people that were down with helping me, but then they didn't. They were too busy getting messed up on drugs. They were too busy getting messed up on alcohol, and I have proof of all of this. But the main thing right now is that I was assaulted yesterday morning, and I am too afraid to speak to the police without someone present. I have pulled myself up by the bootstraps and tried it repeatedly to go in by myself. It never ends well. I get desperate for help. I call 911. I call the Toole County Sheriff's Office. I call the Nebraska State Patrol. Over and over and over again, but I need someone there in person. Somebody there who is going to take it seriously instead of blowing me off. So I'll be at church. I'll be at church to ask you for help. I hope. Most of the time, I can't sleep. Last night I was so depressed I passed out, I want to say around 7 o'clock. And I woke up at midnight. I've read the story of Job. I'm not Job. I can't find my Bible, so I can't read it. I don't know where it went. It might still be down in Colorado at Ventus's. But I don't know. A lot of people tell me I gotta have faith. Well, that ain't easy. I live in hell. When I tried to commit suicide in January of 2018, and I was taken to the hospital there, I was still trying to get the police there to take a police report. I called 911. They told me at the hospital that it's a felony to call 911 from the hospital. I'm not technically savvy, dude. I don't expect you to speak up. I don't need you there for anything more than my safety. That's it, Rod. I am scared of the police for a reason. I'm scared of the Dual County Sheriff's Department from experience. I shouldn't have to go to my predators to ask for help. Rod, you're not one of my predators. As far as I know, you're not a drug addict. You're not an alcoholic. Unlike many people like Laura Nelson and Brenda Dickens, I don't know all of your secrets. I was given permission to be here for 2 days to work on my court stuff, but I can't make those telephone calls with a broken phone. I don't have the money to get another phone card, to get another phone turned on, and I don't have my contact information. I can't. That's my phone, Rod. It's full of evidence. It's even got the assault on there. Problem is, Rod, I can't unlock it. It's got the assault on it. It's got evidence that I need. It's got the phone numbers that I need. I can't call the places that I need to call. I went to Colorado to try to get help, and the people that I went to go see, they were too busy doing immoral things to help me. Too busy with their own plans and their own ideas. Between the fantasy of the situation, I say fantasy because people have it in their heads that it's a certain way, and the reality of the situation that I have so much evidence of. I need help. I shouldn't have to go to YouTube. I shouldn't have to go to Facebook. I know why Laura Nelson's pissed off at me. I know why Brenda Dickinson is pissed off at me, Candace Bondurant, and Lori Dale. Because I told the truth. They didn't want all of their stuff public. They should have thought about that. They should have thought about that before turning a blind eye. Brenda Dickinson was a part of this. Before I ever went to Virginia to rescue Natalie, I was at Brenda Dickinson's house when I got the phone call. I got the phone call that she was suicidal when I was at Dennis and Brenda's. I got the phone call that she'd been in a car accident at Dennis and Brenda's. You'd think in 3 years' time, 4 years' time, that they'd say something about it. But they didn't. They haven't. They claim that they won't help me because of what I put on YouTube about them. But the fact is, what I put on YouTube about them is because they never came forward. Laura Nelson, she helped me to get to Virginia. The car that I took, I bought from her and her husband. The issues that I had with it, they're in Virginia. Those were pre-existing problems that David and Laura were both aware of. And while I get treated like I'm a liar for saying it, the fact is, David and Laura Nelson, if they were decent excuses for human beings, would have fucking spoke up. I need someone to go in with me so that I can report the assault. I need to be able to show my wrist to the police. I need to be able to show my phone to the police. I can barely function, Rod. I got a hold of your daughter to try to get help from you before I was assaulted by Robert Warnick. I am desperate to get actual help. Laura Nelson, she finally went in with me after almost 3 years of her knowing the truth and saying nothing. And we went in, and again, she said nothing. But also, I was instructed I'm not allowed to talk about certain things by Scott Costa. I was glad Laura Nelson was finally going to go in with me. I asked her to tell the truth, and you know what she said to me? Maybe you should ask her. She said if I cared about her, that I wouldn't ask her to tell the truth. I've been through 4 years of this, Rod. When I was in that place in Lafayette, that hospital, and they wouldn't let me call 911. I asked them if I was being held against my will. They told me at the hospital that I was not being held against my will, that I was there of my own volition or something like that. So I told them that I was leaving, and they slammed me to the floor and they injected me with ketamine. Ketamine. And Ativan and Benadryl. Ketamine is a dissociative. Sorry, there's a train going by. It's basically a frontal lobotomy that lasts for anywhere from 2 weeks to the rest of your life. Those injections have literally made people that I know insane. Actual insane. Actually schizophrenic. I need someone to go in with me, Rod. Now let's pretend for a moment that I am schizophrenic. Ooh. Does that mean that it's okay to not look at evidence of abuse against me? Does that mean that it's okay to ignore the crimes against me and to do nothing about them? I've never had a problem with you, Rod. I mean, it's difficult to dislike you. You're Mr. Right. I need to be able to turn in my abusers, sir. I was assaulted right outside of Dennis and Brenda Dickinson's house. By a man that I had attempted repeatedly to go to the Dual County Sheriff's Department about. I need help, Rod. I'm not asking you to go in there with me and tell a bunch of lies. I'm not asking you to go in there with me and talk about Laura Nelson or Brenda Dickinson. I'm asking you to go in with me so that I can turn in just one of my abusers, just one of thousands, Rod. I want to believe that there's good people in this town, but I can't consider anyone a good person who would turn a blind eye to this. There are some of your family members that I understand the reasoning for not going in. I understand the reasons for being afraid. But you don't have those reasons. You aren't the first preacher I've gone to try to get help. I'm hoping that you'll be the last. When these people do these things to me, I don't want to kill them. It just makes me want to kill myself. When they slam me down to the floor for trying to get a police officer, well, they didn't slam me on the floor for trying to get a police officer there. They slammed me on the floor and injected me with drugs for leaving because I was supposedly there of my own volition. When I tried to leave, That's when they pulled the BS that they pulled, and I was sent to Clearview. Clearview is a horrible place. I can tell you people in this very town, other than myself, who have been to Clearview. One of them's related to Rory Jepson, who is your friend. Dana Jepson can speak up about Clearview. He's not going to. But Dana Jepson isn't living this nightmare. I'm not going to be able to defend myself without someone there. If you are willing to take a look at the evidence, then you can speak for me, which I need so greatly. But if you aren't willing to look at the evidence, please at least go in with me so I can turn in this assault without fear of being blown off or arrested. Rod, that's just from January. January of 2018. These four things here, Whale and Lolatai and Clearview. I had to deal with Whale and Lolatai before he assaulted anyone else, other than the man that he assaulted in Denver when he lost that job. I'm having to deal with violent criminals who are getting away with it because they have a badge. They assumed my guilt and thought it was okay to harm me. And in Clearview, they did the same thing. And all I needed was someone on my side. Somebody who was not just pretty words. Somebody who wasn't a coward like Laura Nelson or Brenda Dickinson. This town is full of cowards. People say you shouldn't care what other people think. People have been harming me for 4 years over what they think. I couldn't get anyone to go in with me. They promised, but never followed through until Molly Smith. And Deputy Hahn went and asked Molly Smith how much she knew, and Molly didn't know anything. Laura Nelson knows a lot. Brenda Dickinson knows a lot. But they're cowards. Molly Smith, however, she did go in with me, and nothing happened. The cops did absolutely nothing about it. I don't bruise easily. I got a high iron content. I can't keep doing this, Rod. I never wanted to break the law. I have to out of desperation because nobody cares. Just pretty words. I got recordings with some of your family members, matter of fact, who I've gone to for help. I can barely function, Rod. I have to be afraid to go to the police alone. I literally had to break the law because I couldn't get help. in person. All I needed was someone to go in with me before Natalie was killed to help me. But that's the thing about being autistic. People just blow you off. You must be wrong. It must be your fault. I don't have meltdowns because of autism. I have meltdowns from abuse, sir, and neglect. My predators are police officers, sir, and the general public. People don't care about right or wrong. They don't care about the truth. In this town, all people care about is what other people think. That is all people care about. I shouldn't have to go to alcoholics like Chris Stegeman to try to get help. I shouldn't have to go to meth addicts like Joshua Rayborn and Amy Spencer to try to get help. Rod, I need help. When I was at Clearview, I still continued to try to turn in those cops. I didn't know that Clearview was in a different county. Nobody bothered to tell me that till the day I left. The whole time I was at Clearview, I was trying to get a police officer there so I could turn in Waylon Lolatai and turn in the other people that assaulted me. Now, after 3 years, how much am I going to remember? I remember a lot more than many of these other people because I had to live through it. It is ingrained on my brain. If one of your daughters was schizophrenic and her husband beat her up, would you want the cops to do something? If your daughter was schizophrenic and she came to you and said that she was raped, would you blow her off? Or would you go to the police? If she was autistic, they would treat her as if she were schizophrenic. I got to deal with a bunch of people who aren't lawyers who want to give me legal advice. I've tried all of their suggestions. I tried going to other departments. I need someone to look at evidence of all of the stuff that I've been through for the last 4 years. A woman named Star came up to help me, but things went south because the police were dishonest. And then she left. Then she came back to help me. I spent all of my money to bail myself out of jail and to pay her the gas money required to come see me and help me in person. And she did a little bit, but for the most part, she was there to drink and smoke pot and do mushrooms and have sex with somebody who's not her husband. The guy whose house I'm at, he's afraid to have me here because he doesn't want to get in trouble. He's allowing me 2 days here. 2 days. Now it'd be nice if I could coordinate with my autism advocate. If I was to get a phone card, I have enough money, Rod. People have donated to my PayPal, which I was finally to get up and running and going. It took a few years to do that. Years, Rod. I'm not a computer guy. But I can't get a bank account. So I have no way to have access to that money unless I send it to someone else who pulls it out. I could get a phone card from my other phone so I could at least call my autism advocate. If I could get that money somehow and get to Sydney and back, I don't have a running vehicle. I don't know who to ask. The guy whose house I'm in, he's jumping through government hoops now too. He doesn't have a whole lot of time. Rod, I tried to turn in Robert Warnick when he first threatened me. And the second time too, I have to be afraid of the police, so I have to speak up on YouTube, so at least it's documented. Please, Rod, I am tired of being assaulted. I'm tired of being threatened. I'm tired of being blown off. I asked Chris Kurth's brother to go in with me. He said he tries to avoid the police. He's not going to go in with me. I tried to get a hold of Aaron Stegeman. He said, if nobody goes in with me, I know where he lives. I took that to mean I could go knock on his door and ask him to go with me. No, he's not going to even try. He's made that pretty clear. All it takes for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. If men do nothing, they're not good men. That's why David Nelson is not a good man. That's why Dennis Dickinson is not a good man. That's why Aaron Stegeman is not a good man. That's why Chris Stegeman is not a good man. That's why Floyd Stegeman is not a good man. But then again, Floyd Stegeman is an alcoholic. Chris Stegeman is an alcoholic. Aaron Stegeman, as far as I know, he's not. I have to be afraid to go to the police without someone present. When Laura Nelson went in with me, it was a different situation. When Molly Smith went in with me, it was a different situation. When Stephanie Mejia went in with me, it was a different situation. The police treated me differently when I went in with those three. They didn't antagonize the situation. They didn't interrupt me. every sentence. Rod, this over on the side here. This is the places that I had to go just in January of 2018. I can show you the situation with Candace Bonder on too. I can show you the truth of all of these situations. But even if you're not willing to do that, because Polly Olson, when she recommended I go to you, that was before I was assaulted by Robert Warnick yesterday morning. I can't get a hold of anyone. I can't call anyone. I don't even have access to my phone numbers now, Rod. Not that you're going to take the time to look at these videos or read these articles, but I'm hoping. Heck, you might be one of those people who's pissed off that I said your name on the internet. Well, Rod, I hope not. Your name isn't on the internet because I'm calling you out. Your name is on the internet because I'm calling out for help. Here's another one about Clearview. They're closed now for doing the things that they did to me. They did it to other people, and that's why they ended up closed down. I tried telling on them in January of 2018, and nobody did anything, and as a result, Tiber Hatay is dead. I tried to turn in Waylon Lolatai in 2018. Nobody would go in with me. They made empty promises over and over and over again. Told me that they would. 7 months later, August, I literally had to break the law because I was getting empty promises and no help. Not one person other than Molly Smith had gone in with me by that point. And the Dual County Sheriff's Department had already repeatedly attempted to threaten, harass, and intimidate me into leaving town. I just got out of jail for the assault at Clearview. For the second time. I'm gonna go over here and give you some of the conversations that people are pissed off or up on the internet. Of course, they show I was telling the truth the whole time. There's a lot of people who threw me away over junkies and alcoholics. A lot of them. I need to go back and just go to videos, don't I? Now, I told Chris's brother that I wouldn't record him, and I meant it. If you help me, however, you will be recorded. Because if I have to talk to the police, it is recorded. I make sure of it, if at all possible. In many of these situations, I didn't have the ability to record them. Especially right at the very beginning. I had to learn how to do those things. If I'd have known how to do those things before Natalie was killed, I'd have been able to show her what people like Tim Beeson and Matty Bowe were doing. Laura Nelson taught me how to take screenshots on my phone after Natalie died. She gave me a ride from Candace Bondurant to Todd Ryan Case's house. I know people don't want to hear my words. That's why I saved these other people's words. This is Nettie's Treasures. You'll recognize Laura Nelson. You won't recognize Graham. Graham pretended to be Christian. He's not. Just like Laura pretends to be Christian. If she believed in God, she wouldn't be a coward. She would speak up. By the way, I recorded conversations with her. This is Alyssa Rainwater. This is Russell Huggins. Alyssa Rainwater was going to go in with me, but she was full of it. Here's Ben Beardsley. I also have conversations with his niece. Not on Facebook, though. Here's Brandon Ratner. Here's Brett Roloff. Here's my dad, the one time my entire life that he ever listened to me. At least I thought he was. Here's one with Christine Bouhit. Here's another one with Christine. I got some in here with Brenda Dickinson, too. I got a hold of them eventually. There's hundreds of these phone calls. Here's Christopher Tapp. Here's Darren O'Connor. Just so you know, I don't have nice things to say about most of these people. But you know what? I still admit all of the good things they ever did for me. Everything to speak up. Here's David Nelson. You know him. You know, it's funny. When I bought Chris Stegeman an AK-47 for his birthday, your church is where we had to drill the lockout because they didn't take it off at Cabela's. Here's Graham. Here's another one with Graham. Rod, while people were talking about Jesus, I was saving lives. In many cases, from people who were talking about Jesus. Here's Joshua Hebert. Well, that was not intentional. Here's another one with Joshua Hebert. When people ignore these crimes until I want myself to die, and then they harm me for wanting to die, it really says a lot. Here's someone you know, Cammie Jepsen. Here's another one with Cammie Jepsen. And I just saw Laura Nelson's name, so her video is going to be up here shortly too. This one is Katie Cahill. I sent you a friend request, Rod, on Facebook 2 days ago. These are short calls to Laura Nelson. I'm not sure if these even ever went through. My computer is frozen up again. There it goes. This is a short one with Laura Nelson. Without internet access, I wouldn't have the ability to show you these things. So thank goodness for your relatives. These are two short calls with Laura Nelson. I'm not sure if I even got through. Most of these videos are from August of 2018. Here's one from Mandy Hughes. Here's Missy Richards. We got hundreds more, sir. Hundreds. Let's see. This is called Peach 3. That's Miss Peaches, aka Kayla Trujillo. I was at her house when Natalie was killed. Or rather, when Natalie disappeared. We found out she was missing on the 28th. She wasn't killed till the 29th. Here's another one with Miss Peaches. And another one with Miss Peaches. I trusted these people to keep their word. And for months and months and months, they were full of it. They never went in with me to turn in my predators. I can tell you all three people who went in with me. I can tell you all the people who went to court with me, too. Let's see. This one might be a double. I can't remember if the last video I posted was Brandon Ratner or not. I've cursed at nearly all of these people. This is Tabitha Michelle Cook. I stayed with her after Natalie was killed. They were having a lot of problems at this point in time because Ryan hung himself in her closet. This is Tabby's daughter, Sydney. I told the truth, dude. Here's one with Terry Jetson, but the call is cut. So here's another one. That's Terry Jetson. Here's another conversation with Terry Jetson. A lot of these were just me talking. I was about to say fighting because there's one here called Fighting for Our Rights. But that's just me talking. And people don't seem to care what I have to say. Maybe they'll listen to these other people, but these other people didn't speak up in court. They didn't go with me to make a police report. They didn't make calls with me. Here's another one with Joshua A. Bear. And another one with Joshua A. Bear. I had a lot of stuff on my phone, but it ended up getting lost. I had 3 other phones stolen. Now, there's a lot of situations with cops that are on here too. Here's another one with Mandy. It's Mandy Hughes. Here's another one with Mandy Hughes. I can do this all day, sir. Here's another one with Mandy Hughes. And another with Mandy Hughes. After months and months and months and months of BS, I did get frustrated with these people because they were not keeping their word. Here's one with Missy Richards. This is with Nick and Sarah Bacon. They were pretty drunk, apparently. Here's one with Katie Cahill. Here's one with Brenda Dickinson. I've been from one end of the country to get help, sir. This one's with Amanda Ingline. Sometimes your words don't come together right. Not necessarily yours, but all of ours. Here's another one with Amanda Ingline. I also got Jamie Curtis and James Payton, and I got Jamie's son recording. Jamie's son, his stuff is private. stuff with James Payton is private. But I can still show it to you. This is the second time I screamed at Shannon Alvarado. I was at a McDonald's in Montana. And I was having a meltdown and I needed help. I needed someone to listen. Instead, she called up to talk over me. It was stupid. Here's a conversation with my dad, too. This is where he claims that he did things that he didn't. Because he did not do those things, I can't get a bank account. Adams Bank and Trust. When I had $12,000 and I was going to try to get property. I was looking at property in Colorado, and guess what? I can't go to Colorado without being arrested or assaulted. People love that I tell the truth until I tell the truth about them. Here's another one with my dad. Here's another one with Brenda Dickinson. I don't know if this is a different Candace or what. I'm pretty sure this is just me talking about the situation with Candace, because by this point, me and Candace hadn't been speaking. We hadn't been speaking since I threatened to turn in Officer Michael Beard. This one, Missing Women of Hardin, Montana. This is about the missing and murdered Indigenous women. It's not just women, though. It's men, women, and children. But if you say MMIP, it's missing and murdered Indigenous people, folks don't seem to care as much. So we have to say missing and murdered Indigenous women. We have to focus just on the women, because otherwise nobody will care. Here is Nicole. You know her. One of your daughters used to be married to her brother. I'm pretty sure you were able to figure out immediately who that is if you watch the video. This one right here is mostly me talking, but it's also got a conversation with Officer Abel Ramos. So where Abel Ramos tells me I got warrants, which the cops here seem to not understand. I was telling the truth. It's called Crooked Cops Abel Ramos Call in Colorado Blue Line of BS. That doesn't mean that Abel Ramos is a crooked cop. Here's Gaugasian weaponry. This is a guy who liked an idea I had for a jet engine, but he wanted to use it for killing people. in a place called Azerbaijan. Freezing road. Here's another call with Darren O'Connor. Don't get me wrong, these people, many of them did try to help. They never spoke up. They never wrote a police report. They never went in with me. This one is me screaming at Miss Peaches. Miss Peaches knows I'm not angry at her. I'm just frustrated. It's how scared I get, sir. This is the Officer Amos conversation. Please, Rod. Please help. Here's another one with Darren O'Connor. These people had lots of things to say, just couldn't say them to the police. This one is a plea for help because I need to try to get help recovering a video that he didn't record. It was a call with a police officer who had hidden the death of my friend Danny. But this conversation in specific, I'm trying to. All right, I don't know what just happened. Everything just changed size all of a sudden. This one's not a conversation, it's just screenshots to show I was telling the truth. There's lots of these too. Here's some from just prior to Natalie's death. Mostly. It's a short video, about 45 seconds. This one is a tiny selection of the threats I've received. There's stuff here with Matty Boa. There's stuff here with. There's a bunch of them from Wyoming. Bunch of them from a lot of different places. Here's one with Samantha Daniels. This is one of Natalie and Alicia's friends. She used to give them rides. There's a whole bunch of hospital visits here. You can read those too. I won't depress you with those. They'll pretty much stick to people who are at least partially aware of the situation. Here's one with Jace Jepson. You know him too. It's Rory's nephew. A lot of these are me calling services for help and getting nowhere. This one is mostly just a rant. It's called What Other People Think Will Get You Killed. I'm going to post it up though. It's true. You shouldn't care what other people think, right? This one I am trying to call a cop in Chapel, Nebraska. Trying. So we'll post that one up anyway. Let's see, how many more conversations can we get? Here's Kevin. This is a situation with cops in Wyoming. Walmart parking lot. I got a bunch of stuff like this, and I'm not gonna pound you with this. A lot of these are like when Janine Barrett died. I spoke up. When Anna Hunka died, I spoke up. They were two of my witnesses. This one is reading messages between Joanna Taylor Smith and I don't have technical skills. I know how to take screenshots, but By that point, my phone was full. There's a call to Officer William Barr. You know the Martindale family. William Barr is the man who married Jessica Martindale. I believe she was in your oldest daughter's class. Here's one with Cara Mia, aka Cara Rogers. This is from when Anna died. This one is a conversation with my little sister. Matter of fact, I unblocked my sister a couple days ago. I had her blocked since I was in Virginia. I'm gonna send her the link. I sent her my phone number on Friday, and my phone broke Saturday morning. Sorry, I was assaulted, and the dude broke my phone. I should say that properly. And there's this one's called Appointment Number Who Knows, Part 1. Another friggin' appointment 2. Another appointment 3. I'm gonna put those up. I don't know if this is a conversation with Jen Beebe or if it's me just complaining about her. A lot of these other videos, they don't expressly say who it is that I'm talking to. It just has a title. This one is called Breaking the Rules at Peak Wellness. You know, it's funny. It's a mental health place. And we have a marijuana dispensary within 10 miles of here. Same name. I got a lot here, sir. This one's a call with Jennifer Najewski. She was one of the people who was supposedly a reporter. She did a article for Heavy D. And then she went to work for Nancy Grace. I wouldn't have hired her. This one is a conversation with Desiree. She's tripping on mushrooms in this, though, so it's not exactly effective. I have pretty good memory, folks. Here's a call from Des. So that other one might not be a conversation with her. This one might be. Of course, they might both be. This one's called Stephanie 2. I don't know what happened to Stephanie 1. Here's another one from Miss Peaches, aka Kayla Trujillo. I found Stephanie 1. Peaches on changing into some free words. I don't know if I posted that one up already. Sorry about that. Long-term memory is great. Short-term memory, not so good. This one's a call to Aaron Cockerham. These people are pissed off at me because their conversations with me are on here, but it's a desperate situation, and there are a lot of people who are dead. This one's called Pray for Anna. It's because she died. And another one called Pray for Janine. Here's another call from Shannon. That's Shannon Alvarado. And I'm sorry, the dude who owns the house has to slam the door so that the dog doesn't get out. It's because of the insulation. I think this one might be a conversation with Amanda. I'm not sure. Which Amanda? I don't know. There were a lot of Amandas that I had to talk to and deal with. Here's Amanda 2. And then there's some that say accompaniment. And those are explanations of what was going on at the time, things like that. Important notes. So I won't bore you with those. Stick to other people's words since mine don't matter. Here's another one with Amanda. And another one. Here's one with Miss Peaches. Believe in omitting information. A lot of times people ask me to do that, and I try the best I can. There's also people who have genuine safety concerns, and I don't go posting up all their stuff either. I can show you those in person. This one right here, it's called Peaches on the Humanity of Officers, Lola Ty and Steinman. These guys are POSs, but Kayla Trujillo was never homeless. She pretended. I spoke with her mother. There's one with Christy. I'm having a pretty bad meltdown in this one, and I finally called her. Passing out. Here's Christy too. That's Christy Monet. She's from Buffalo, Wyoming. This one is Call with Brandon Ratner. Here's one to a guy named Christian. Christian Reno Michael Bort. That's his name. And this guy is schizophrenic. When I hurt my back, this is one of like 6 schizophrenic people that came in and talked to me. That's pretty much the only people who had actual conversations with me until Natalie came and rescued me. I am freezing, but later on I learned how to make my videos private, which is good. See, these ones are called no response. That's because I was calling people that here's a call with Kelly. We'll post this one up. There's actually 2 of them here, so and these verify my stories, the ones that people want to pretend don't exist because I'm mentally ill, they say. Let's see, more harassment from Cheyenne PD. I'm posting this one up because it shows the situation a lot of these, so I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of them. But here is, that's not what I was trying to do. Let's see. The cops in that scenario came back and talked to Gracie, who was the manager at the Starbucks at the time. Here's one about Darren the hero. That's Darren O'Connor. Turned out he's not the hero I thought he was. Of course, he hadn't really kept his word to me in the past, so there is that. Here's one with a guy named Charlie. Now, I don't remember giving him my number, but right after Natalie died, there was a lot of stuff going on. I have an excellent memory, but it's not perfect. Here's one about Chloe and Todd. All these people tell me they won't help me unless I follow their advice. Well, many of them, anyway. Their advice is shit because they don't know what's going on. Or they're telling me to do things I've already done. Here's another call with my little sister Tara. I'm looking for one in specific. Here's another one with Brenda Dickinson. Here's one with Rick. He just basically screams at me the whole time. People aren't happy when you tell the truth, especially when you do it on the internet. Of course, all these people had the opportunity to tell the truth in court. They had the opportunity to tell the truth, and they didn't. This one is called Reading Rick's Assholery. You don't have to listen to that one. I won't make you. I'm not going to make you watch any of these or listen to any of these. This one's a conversation with Shannon Alvarado. She still talked over me, but she did better. The problem with all these people is that it's difficult to get past their assumptions. This one is called Attempting to Have an Adult Conversation with Shannon Alvarado. She's not very good at that. Most people aren't very good at that. They just want to talk about themselves. You can't help others if you're busy talking about yourself. Here's another call from Christian. I figured I'd push through until I found one from the conversation with Brett Roloff about the situation with Natalie in Virginia. This one's with Dan Favorite. Here's another one with Katie Cahill. I also have some in here from Rory Dale, if I ever get to them. I'm skipping over, I probably skipped over 200 to 300 videos easily by now. Maybe more than that. Here's another one with Katie Cahill. Here's another one with Miss Peaches. I'm just trying to post up conversations. I'm not posting up the stuff where, every police interaction. I'm not posting up every interaction with meth heads or crack heads or alcoholics. I'm not showing every instance with the homeless. There's a video here called "Your Name is Public Because You Didn't Keep Your Word." Good point to make, but it's my words, so you might not watch it. is called Miss Peaches the Wonderful. I think it's conversation, but I'm not for certain. It might just be me singing her praises. I hurt so much. Now scrolling through. Here's a conversation with a guy named Steve Thompson. I've known him for a lot of years. He went to one court date with me. And this is about that court date because we didn't have court. And my public pretender still wouldn't look at the evidence. These are mostly calls to the FBI, so we'll scroll past them. There's a video here called Her Pain Is Gone. It's about Natalie Bollinger getting shot in the head. I don't know if this is me talking about Brent Jepson or if it's an actual conversation with him. This might be an actual conversation with him. If not, it's in here somewhere. You know Brent Jepson, that's Rory Jepson's son. He used to be a cop. Here's another conversation with Miss Peaches. Here's another one with Miss Peaches. There's a couple of them from Mandy Hughes that disappeared, but there's a few more with Mandy Hughes that are on here. I just gotta find them. Here's one, Talking to Moose. This one is extremely important. That's the one I was looking for, actually. And this one is called, let me see, Robbie Forrest. His name is actually Bobby Forrest, but I typed his name wrong. My bad, typographical error. Please don't be a grammar Nazi. Alright, so there's a lot more, a whole lot more, sir. Hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of conversations with witnesses.